So after a long time of trying to film this video, we're finally able to sit down and hopefully get through the questions that we received. Our brother is 25, his name is Jose, and he has Down syndrome. Obviously, like, if you know us, you know Jose, and so we've always wanted to just kind of like, I guess, just like open the air for like if anybody has questions, or like if you have anything that you've always wanted to know about having a family member with special needs. I just feel like sometimes we're afraid to ask questions about the things we don't know, and we said like don't be ashamed or don't be afraid to ask, because we've heard it all, and we're like an open book when it comes to stuff like that. So let's get started. How has having a sibling with special needs impacted you?
I think it has impacted how I look at friendships and relationships. I feel like I really value the friendships and relationships that I have, and I don't like over the surface stuff, because it just doesn't allow me. I'm just so used to trying to just be vulnerable in an open book, because my brother has just taught me to just be real and be you and be 100% who you are. Like, if my brother is with a bunch of people and he gets tired of talking, he'll just walk up and, you know, stand up and just go to his room. And so just like being able to be who you are with people has really been important and something that he's taught me. How about you?
Yeah, I would say the same. Like, everyone always says, oh, I hate small talk, but like I hate small talk. Like, because Jose is, not only is he an open book, like he just shows his feelings, and he just like, if you know him, you know him. Like, there's no like over the surface type of stuff. And I'm a lot more open myself, and I appreciate when people are open and vulnerable. And I definitely have to say he's taught me to have compassion and to love unconditionally. I think that the kind of love that Jose gives is like insane. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He forgives like that. He just loves people. He loves people, and he doesn't understand when we get hurt and we hold grudges. He gets it, like, okay, they hurt you, but why can't you still love them? Like, he always calls us out on like being a lot more loving to people, and he's definitely taught me to have compassion and just view people just with love. It's really like love.
He taught me to include everyone, and just because I've grown up seeing him not included in a lot of things with kids his age, and so I just grew up being conscious about who is by themselves, who needs someone to talk to, who is being ignored, or who is not part of the clique. And that's why I do not like cliques, I do not like groups, I do not like, you know, I just don't like that, because I know because I would stay with him, I know what it is to not be included, and I know what it is to see him not be included. So that's one thing that I really appreciate that he taught me.
For people his age, people our age, it's really hard to include somebody who's nonverbal, who like you don't understand what he's trying to tell you. And so like a lot of people just kind of like keep it at a distance, and are like, hey Jose, it's good to see you, but like there's never any like attempt to fully like include him. And definitely I would say like he's taught me to be more aware of like my surroundings and who's like left out and stuff like that. How do you handle well-meaning but kind of offensive comments by strangers? I took Jose grocery shopping with me, and he likes to like go into the store. Like, we'll go in and he immediately goes and does his own thing, and he grabs his own snacks and stuff. And so he was off like looking for chips or something, and a lady came up to him and was like, I wasn't there, but I guess she was talking to him really loud, and she was like, "Where's your mom? Are you lost?" And it just was like, he's nonverbal, so he just kind of like was like, no, and he just said he was okay. And then that's when I came up and the lady was walking away, and he just like was kind of rolling his eyes, and he was just like, what the heck? And he like told me what she said, and I was like did you tell her you were looking for your mom? And he's like, no. It was just really funny because, you know, people do mean well, but I mean, there's really nothing in situations like that. There's nothing you can do but like, oh, like it's okay, or no thank you, or you know. But there's been times where, for example, like we've grown up in church, and visiting different churches, there's been people that come up to him and pray for healing. And it's really like, I feel like we just take advantage of those situations and like say thank you so much, but actually this is, you know, a chromosomal condition and there's no healing for it, and there's no need to pray for healing. Like he's okay, or like we explain to them like what is Down syndrome and why there's no need to pray for that, or I don't know, just I feel like there's a lot of comments that people mean well by. It's just like they're just like backed up by like a little bit of ignorance, and so we just tend to like lovingly just teach people.
They tend to lovingly teach people because I don't do well with that stuff. I'm just like give the face and then walk away, because yeah I think it's easier for like me and dad are very like easy to like tell people, and then mom tends to stay quiet, right, and then I tend to, and then you just like give them a dirty look, flip people off or something. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, so we have family that doesn't, I mean, cousins that growing up they just took advantage or whatever. Oh man, if I ever called them, oof, they would never do it again. Just because of like Jose's niceness. They would be telling him like, you idiot, why did you do that, you retard, and stuff like that. And I'd be like, what did you call him? Like, oh heck no, you know. So I think I've become defensive just because with like when it came to socializing with people our age, it was more closely to people my age, so I just had to defend a lot more. Yeah. So the next question, this is like our 50th attempt at filming this video. So we went through this question before, and I was really surprised at your answer. The question is, do you ever feel bad for your brother? And I immediately was like, no. And then you said yes. Why? There's just been so many instances where I've seen his desire for being able to talk, for being able to drive and have the freedom that I have. Like I can, if I want to go to Starbucks right now, I can just get in the car and drive to Starbucks. He can't, and he has to rely on other people. And I just, one, it makes me more aware of like to involve him and invite him. And every week he wants to go to the movies with my husband, and so we make it part of our budget, we make it part of our weekly calendar to make sure to do something with him and involve him in some way, because I can see that he has that kind of desire. And it's not that I'm like, oh, pobrecito, like poor him, right? It's more of like, man, like we just don't realize how humbling sometimes, like he has to be have such a humble heart because of the fact that he relies on so many other people. And so I just, you know, when I was younger, I would ask God, like I would cry and I'd be like, why couldn't he just talk? Like I get it, he has Down syndrome, but why couldn't he just be able to communicate? And why is it so hard for him? And but I know that like his closest people, the people that love him the absolute most, and some of those people, they're not always, it's not just us, some uncles, some of our uncles and aunts and cousins are part of this group, but they understand, we understand what he's saying. We understand what he loves to do, and we take it seriously, and we make sure that we include him in our activities in our day and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I have to say, like, after hearing what my sister had to say, like, I realized that my no, when I said no right off the bat, it was very prideful, because I do have a lot of pride. I guess I should say I'm really proud of the things that Jose can do, and it just made me, like, I guess it just makes me want to say, like, he's fine, he doesn't need help, he doesn't, but he does, like you said, you have to be really humble in order to have to depend on a lot of people. And my immediate no was a very prideful thing.
Yeah, because we want to say, like, this, you know, because sometimes we do come off as standoffish to these kinds of situations because of having to defend and having to show that this is who he is and it is okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, I don't know, it just makes us even, like, when we think about where we're gonna live, what kind of place we're gonna live in, what kind of, you know, what are we doing for vacation, like, we think about my brother and we include him in those plans. Like, you know, I want to live where there's a pool, and I want to live because he loves that stuff, and it's like his, you know what I mean?
He has to have his own space and stuff like
we
that.
make sure we buy a couch with a bed. Like, it really does impact us so much that we don't even realize it. But
well, that actually leads me to this question. Have you guys discussed who will assume care of your brother in the future? We have, like, talked about it as we've gone into different phases of our lives. So, like, when we were first married, and then now that we have kids, like, we've had to kind of, you know, change our answer every time. I am Jose's legal guardian, but I don't think that it'll be like he's with us and that's it. Like, just like Lupe was saying, like, in our everyday life, we make decisions based on whether Jose is gonna be there or not, and so I think that's not gonna change. I think that's just gonna continue on into the future, like, if my parents aren't around and stuff like that.
I think we'll just take turns, because we also have to consider him, and, like, he would go crazy if he would just stay with one of us forever. And so I know for him, he'd have to have, like, you know, combination of, like, coming here for 3 months, going over there for 3 months, and of course things change, we might move and different things like that, but I know that, like, it wouldn't just be a home, it wouldn't be a house for kids for adults with special needs, but it wouldn't be with just one of us. So we would definitely split that up.
Did you guys ever feel pressure to be good so you wouldn't add stress to your parents?
I think as I got older, I did realize that I felt like I kind of missed out on having more attention from my parents, just because a lot of it was on my brother. But I don't, like, you know, it's not a resentful kind of thing, and it's not a kind of, like, you know, it's all his fault, like, not at all. Like, I think I'm so grateful that even if it was, you know, watching out for him when we were with our friends, like, we could easily choose to ignore him and go hang out with our friends, but I'm grateful for the fact that we were raised to think of him before, you know, doing stuff like that, because it made us more considerate. And maybe as a teenager, you know, it would sometimes, I would be cranky about it, but I'm so glad that my parents taught me that, because it was more of like a team culture than. And I remember one time, a lot of times I would complain, like, I'm like, in this family it's one for all for one, right? But I'm actually really glad that I was taught that, because now that I have kids, like, heck yeah, that's what I want it to be like. So
I like how you're talking and I'm just like yeah, I don't think I ever felt pressured to be good. I don't know, I can't put my finger on what exactly my parents did to raise us to where we never felt like that, but I always felt accepted for who I was, and I never felt like I guess I never felt like, because Jose was a handful. When he was little, he was very like crazy. Like, as in, like, everywhere we would go, a kid would get like hit, because Jose was just like, they would call him Taz, because he was like the Tasmanian devil from the Looney Tunes. Like, he was just always like all over the place. And I don't know, I just like, he was a lot, but I never felt like he was a lot. Like, my mom never showed her stress, and my dad was always there to, like, there was always balance in our house. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never felt like, oh, be quiet because mom's mad because Jose, or like nothing like that. I never ever felt like that. And I think it's really important for parents to, it's okay to be stressed, but don't show your kids that they stress you out, because you don't want your kid to grow up thinking that they're a problem, you know? How did your parents tell or explain to you that Jose has Down syndrome as kids?
I don't think there was like a defining moment.
I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember. We have to ask mom. But I don't remember there being like I just always knew Jose was different. And
well, because also when we were younger, we were very involved. When we were little, we were very involved in special programs for kids with special needs, or specifically Down syndrome. Or I would go to therapy with him. We were always very involved in things like that. Because I know for a fact, like, my parents, when they had my brother, they had no idea what they were doing, so they automatically like just started, well, maybe not automatically, but sooner or later they just started getting as much information. And I think in the process we were just educated about that, but I don't think there was a defining moment.
No, there wasn't a defining moment where we were told that, but it just was never necessary, because we were so aware of just like the different types of disabilities and just how everybody's different. Is that it?
If that is it, I will say one thing that I appreciate about like the culture, that like there has been a lot more education for kids with special needs, and the R word, which the retard, is not as said as often anymore, because I remember not one of my cousins ever respected the fact that we did not say that in our house. Not one. And so that is just like, I love the fact that is not said as often, and that I've seen like arguments happen on Instagram, you know, that drama that you're just like reading, of people defending, you know, or like saying, hey, don't say that, you know, that's, you know, telling them off because they said that. But I'm just so thankful for those people that tell other people off.
Yeah, I have to say, my friend Shelby, she, whenever I guess I would go off on people, like in middle school and high school, I would go off on people that said retard or said retarded, because, you know, like, especially when I was in high school, that was like the word. And I remember Shelby was like, somebody said it around me, and she was like, no, don't say that in front of Martha. And when she would say it, she would just immediately be like, oh my God. And I can't remember how it came out, but one day she just said like, oh, you know, why do you always get really angry when people say that? And I never realized that I was actually getting like blazing angry, but I just hated Jose's diagnosis. Like, if you look back on his like diagnosis paperwork from when he was born and when he was growing up, his diagnosis is Down syndrome and mild mental retardation. Like, that's his diagnosis, and people would use it to offend others, and it would really like irk me.
Yeah,
that was definitely a trigger.
If someone said it today, I'd be educating them.
No, I've been around people that have said it, and to me, I'm just like, what are you? Do you think this is 2001? Like, why are you still talking like that?
Yeah.
But anyway, that is a good point.
On a happy note.
Oh no, but I love Jose so much. I think it'd be fun to have him in a video, and maybe if you guys want to send us questions that you have for Jose. He loves being on our Instagram. Like when we post up pictures of him, he loves being in videos and stuff. So I'm sure he'd be down to have a video with him in it. So thank you so much for watching this, if you stuck around to the end. And if you have any more questions for us, we're definitely here to answer them. And I would really appreciate it that if you have any negative things in your mind when it comes to this stuff, or if you disagree with things that we've said, if you can just keep those to yourself.
You can journal about them.
Yeah, please don't comment down any negativity. But we're, you know, if you want to message us, if you have any questions that or comments, you know, if you don't agree, we just don't want to start any arguments. But anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you guys in another video.